So Hollywood is experiencing its like actual first kind of civil battle now, where they're the woke are battling the woker, and it's all kind of driven by the conflict over in the desert. That I'm more I'm more concerned about protecting Americans than anything else right now. But it's kind of interesting. The very same people that likely cheered for Gina Carano's termination are now getting terminated. The extremely left, if there's no coincidence that the far left backs generally one side in the conflict, and that is Palestine. And then kind of the regular left is backing Israel, at least those in power in Hollywood. I don't know if it's crazy to say that, many people in Hollywood are of the Jewish persuasion. They are the bosses. And, a lot of people are kind of screwing around and finding out. I will say, look, I don't think that Melissa Barriera, whatever her name is, I don't think she should have been fired for a social media post, just like I don't think that Gina Carano should have been fired for a social media post. But I'm not going to shed any tears over it. I'm not going to cry. This chick is the star of the latest Scream movies, Scream 6 and 7. She made a single social media post and has been fired from the entire movie. Melissa Barrera has been fired from the upcoming Scream 7 after sharing a series of pro-Palestine posts on her social media accounts. The actress 33, who starred in the last two films in the horror franchise, had been about to film the next one, has been dropped by the production company Spyglass over what they said crossed the line into hate speech. The Mexican star posted a series of comments on her Instagram account amid the ongoing conflict, including one in which she said Gaza was being treated like a concentration camp. I thought we've gone through this before. I thought we've done this all before. I thought that we've gotten, through this all before. Generally, I think it's a good idea to not make comparisons to the events that led to the Second World War, just as like a general life advice thing, in particular if you're in Hollywood. Unless it's a blanket condemnation or something like that. In the same post, she asked if people had learned nothing from our histories and said that this is genocide and ethnic cleansing. The actress played Sam Carpenter in the franchise, labeled Israel as a colonized land, and posted content containing an anti-Semitic trope in regards to Jewish people controlling the media. Why is that an anti-Semitic trope? This is one thing, like, okay, my Jewish viewers, you guys know I don't, I've said it many, many, many times before. I don't care about, I care about who people are, not what spaghetti monster in the sky they worship or any of this stuff. Don't care. Everybody in Hollywood makes this same joke. So why do they call it anti-Semitic? It's pretty clear that an overwhelming majority of the producers and these people, these film companies are Jewish. I don't know. That that does not automatically mean it's a negative thing. I mean, people in Hollywood make this joke all the time. Like literally all the time they make this exact same joke. So why are they calling Jewish people make this joke? Jerry Seinfeld makes this joke. Okay? I don't get why it's a negative thing to say. I mean, if you went on to say something negative or whatever, on that, I suppose. But I mean, it's pretty clear that if you work in Hollywood and you make broad negative statements about Jewish people, you're probably gonna get fired. It's just the way it is. And it's always funny, like with Kanye West, when he said, the stuff Kanye West said, was, definitely more inflammatory. But when Kanye said, "Oh, the Jewish people control this, that, and the other thing," and then he got fired from everything, it didn't do a lot to like dispel that rumor. I'm just talking purely, by the way, purely from a marketing perspective. I'm not saying you guys know I don't buy into any of this stuff. I just think people try to be good people, and that's what I take people at. I take them at this face value. So this chick comes out and says, essentially, she's pro-Palestine, right? And she is Latinx, right? Fired. Then Jenny Ortega, by the way, shout out to, I guess, Jenny Ortega, because it would appear that she is the other star in Scream 7. She's also the star of the show Wednesday that nobody watches. She quit after they fired her. I'm going to give Jenny Ortega far more credit than Pedro Pascal left Gina Carano flapping in the wind. He didn't have any of the stones to back when she got fired. This chick just quit. So then Jenny Ortega gets pulled into the Scream 7 controversy. And this is because her woke fans demanded it. Fans of the Scream franchise suffered a blow on Wednesday when the stars of the recent installments, Melissa Barrera, was dropped from the next film after sharing views on Instagram on the conflict. It wasn't that she shared views about the conflict. Let's put it very clearly. Again, I've got no dog in this fight. I don't care. But she was fired because she shared pro-Palestine opinions. Do you think she would have been fired if she said, "I support Israel"? Of course not. Of course not. So at least say it for what it is. Barrera appeared as Sean Carpenter in this film. Among her thoughts on the conflict, Barrera, we already talked about what Barrera did. Since the news broke, fans have asked if Ortega will appear in Scream going forward now that her, quote, sister is no longer linked to the project, with many fans calling for a boycott of the film. One fan on Twitter said, "I hope Jenny Ortega quits Scream 7. I believe it will be the right thing to do. #boycott." Another comment, "I'm waiting for Jenny Ortega to announce her departure from Scream 7. Praying for Jenny or that she drops from Scream 7. She doesn't need that movie, but they definitely need her. She's the only reason the box office was as good as it was." Really? I couldn't name a single star from Scream movies. Was Courtney Cox in it? I guess Courtney Cox was in a Scream movie at one time. I mean, I think. I don't know. There's Doofy, or whatever that guy's name was. I don't know. Like, people don't go to see Scream movies for the stars. They go for Ghostface. That's pretty obvious. Drew Barrymore was in it for like 60 seconds. That's right. So then, basically, another Chinaman, Jenny Ortega has been showing support for Palestine for years as well. If she gets, quote, dropped, who else is going to carry this already dead franchise on their back? Again, I don't think Jenny Ortega puts, butts in seats. I don't think anyone knows or cares about, Jenny Ortega, except for weird Zoomers online. But now she quit, I thought I had this post somewhere. Now Jenny Ortega has essentially quit, saying Jenny Ortega exits Scream 7 due to, quote, Wednesday season 2 scheduling conflict. Well, we know that's not true. We know that she's backing her buddy, hey, look, I don't have to agree with anybody's, personal politics. I can at least say this chick, she quit the movie, which was clearly out of solidarity for her friend. But this is just the woke eating themselves. She's going to get a lot of likes and retweets on Twitter for this, except, it's going to be curious what it does to her career. Netflix has pretty much, done its own thing in terms of allowing actors and actresses to be advocates or activists and do whatever they want to do. But what if she gets dropped from the Wednesday series? I guess she's the star. The idea that it's a scheduling conflict is obviously not true. The scheduling conflict is that she was standing with her buddy. You see, no one believes you. Best excuse from the makers. Now both Melissa Barrera and Jenny Ortega will not be in Scream 7. The movie's dead already. I stand with Jenna. You get a bunch of OnlyFans bots in the chat saying that it's based and true. I'll say this. I may not agree with her political opinions, but at least she had the stones to quit in solidarity with someone that she feels was wronged. When you look at, what happened to Gina Carano, I would argue that Pedro Pascal did not back her because he supported her firing, even though Pedro Pascal made similar comments on his own social media. Pedro Pascal has the quote-unquote right opinions. And so it's interesting to me how this all shook out, but it's funny to me that the left is just absolutely crumbling. Absolutely crumbling under their own weight of wokeness because they just don't really know what to do. They're just, virtue signaling, you're fired. I'm not saying anybody's right or wrong and what their opinions are. They're allowed to carry those opinions. But I do think it's pretty hilarious when you talk about one side, you're getting fired, and then that same side is saying, well, we don't have any power over people. I don't know. Maybe her particular statements were inflammatory, but I believe she is actually, this is a woman that has backed them for a very long time, Palestine, for example. So she is who they thought she was when they hired her. And I feel like this is somebody who, what would you say, is from where? She's from Mexico too. Okay, so yeah, shout out to the Latinas actually sticking together, but I'm just going to stick on the sideline and watch it all fall apart. It's beautiful to me.